What's up, party people? It is Beth Demon here once again for the weekly San Diego Brewers Guild Happy Hour at Home. We are here to check in with a couple different San Diego breweries. We have got, as always, a totally stellar lineup. We're going to kick things off with Abnormal Beer Company up in North County, Rancho Bernardo. Then we're going to follow it up with somebody kind of interesting and new. We're going to check in with the folks at Athletic Brewing, the non-alcoholic brewing company that started on the East Coast and has made their way to our fair city. Hi to everybody checking in. Our third person up is Tommy Arthur, who is obviously a very well-known name here in San Diego beer. He is behind brands like The Lost Abbey, The Hop Concept, and of course the new brand, Tiny Bubbles, and Port Brewing. We can't forget Port Brewing. And then we're going to wrap things up with the folks over at Stave and Nail to hear about the funky stuff that they're brewing up. So before we get started, I do have a confession to make. I have a beer, and it is totally not from San Diego. It's from Michigan. So I know all you nerds like me love Bell's Two-Hearted, but I'm keeping a little casual today. This is 3.7% and their low-calorie kind of answer to Two-Hearted. It's lighthearted, so where are they at? Kalamazoo? Am I crazy? Comstock? Michigan? Anyway, Michigan. Sorry, guys. I have a plan I have a whole beer run plan for this weekend. You know, I'm going to hit Bottlecraft to get some of the smoked Hellas that they've got. Hopefully hit up, Fall, some other North Park spots, maybe Society. I haven't hit them up in a while. So, next week, I promise I will have totally restocked my beer fridge, with some San Diego faves. But right now I was kind of looking at it and I was like, do I really want a 12% stout? Do I really want to bust a huge bomber of, something sour? No. So I'm just going to go to Michigan. Sorry guys, but it's really good. But anyway, yeah, moving right along. While I'm out, I might have to stop by Black Plague, because I don't know if you guys all saw, but they posted a shirt. It's like a death rival, goth meets beer type situation shirt, and it is right up my alley. So I'm going to need to maybe go check out the folks over at Black Plague. If they were able to open in North Park, that would be super tight, but we talked to them a couple weeks back, and obviously that is on hold. Thank you so much, COVID. You're ruining it for everybody. But anyway, I'll just go to their normal spot and get the shirt because it's extremely dope. A couple bits of news before we bring on the first person. As always, this is the San Diego Brewers Guild Instagram Live, and if you are looking for any resources or information about what's going on in the San Diego beer scene right now, the website is sdbeer.com, and one of the biggest and most important things that's happening right now is the BEER, the Beer Fund, the Breweries Experiencing Economic Roadblock Fund. It's right there to donate. There's a link to the GoFundMe on the homepage of sdbeer.com. We have a $10,000 goal, and I just checked, it looks like we're at about $7,100. So a little background into where that money would be going to. So normally the Brewers Guild does support initiatives of breweries, independently owned breweries here in San Diego. And most of the education and training materials and other types of support that we provide are based off of us getting money from events like Beer Week and things like that. So obviously those kind of aren't happening right now. So they put together this fund so that we could help a lot of the breweries that have been affected disproportionately by the pandemic and things like that. As of July 1st, breweries that didn't have an option of serving food or didn't have a kitchen on site or a parking lot where a food truck could come or something like that, they just can't operate. So as far as I know, there have been a lot of workarounds for that, but that's still the reality for a couple of different places. So with the help of some of the San Diego council members and it looks like the supervisor for District 5, it's not relevant where they're from. But anyway, they partnered with the Guild to put together that aid fund to be distributed to brewery members of the San Diego Brewers Guild to hopefully help keep some of those places afloat who wouldn't be able to otherwise. So, hopefully that is able to help kind of slow the flow of, places that are struggling with overhead and things like that right now. I mean, as of today, I think only 3, maybe 4 breweries have permanently closed since the pandemic started. And as far as I know, most of those did have sort of extenuating circumstances. This was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back type situation. So hopefully we're able to, prevent anybody else from closing specifically due to the pandemic, because that sucks balls, and it has sucked balls since the beginning. So anyway, if you are feeling or in a giving mood or financially able to give a couple of bucks to the Brewers Guild so that we can redisperse it to some of our members, just go to sdbeer.com and please do find that GoFundMe button and try to give. Other ways to give, there is plenty of merch available. The Brewers Guild launched a couple of weeks or months ago, pretty recently, some new designs, t-shirts, obviously masks now and things like that. So if you were looking to get something tangible for your buck, which is totally fair, feel free to check out the store as well. Again, sdbeer.com. So there are a couple of things, if this is your first time watching this live stream, which I'm seeing everybody popping on, and it's a lot of familiar names, which is super great. Please feel free to chime in with a question, with a comment. This is interactive. Like I said, we've got 4 guests in the lineup, which is typical for us. And we do, kind of play it a little bit fast and loose. Sometimes somebody is not, on here during their specified time, or we've got to shuffle things around. And so I really appreciate you guys sticking with us as we go through this live. And hopefully, be cracking a beer. If you're, better than me, get a San Diego beer. But, anyway, your thoughts, your comments, your questions, please feel free to pop those into the comment box while we are going through our guests. So I think that is pretty much... Oh, I was going to say that's all the news I have before we bring on the first guest, which again is Abnormal. To give you guys just a refresh if you are just joining us, we're going to start things off with Abnormal Beer Company, move over to the non-alcoholic beer sector with Athletic, then hop over to chat with Tommy Arthur, who everybody probably knows, I'm just going to assume, and then finish it up with the folks over at Stave and Nail. So before we bring on Abnormal, if you are on the website, sdbeer.com, and you're kind of poking around, you have a question or need some support from the Brewers Guild, please do reach out. info@sdbeer.com. I know it seems like a generic email, but I promise somebody is responding to emails as quickly as they possibly can. So without further ado, why don't I go ahead and see if the Abnormal folks are ready to kick things off. And oh, it looks like you are. And if any future guest is watching on a desktop, please do swap over to get on your cell phone, because I can't add you if you're on a desktop. But it looks like Abnormal is going to add you right now. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Just kicking it, just a regular whip. Nothing crazy's going on.
Brewing cold beers.
Yeah. Brewing cold beers. Well, talk to me about, before we talk about the beers you're brewing, can you give me a quick intro, who you are, what you're doing, where you're at, etc.?
Yeah. So my name is Niall Molina. I'm the head brewer here at Abnormal Beer Company. We do a lot of pastry, stout, kettle sour, hazy, IPA type things a lot. And then we like to season in a few classic styles, like a bunch of lagers that we have kind of brewing right now, actually, since we have tank time.
Nothing time. I have noticed that lagers have definitely proliferated, much to my enjoyment. So, and it seems like you guys are, cooking up some new stuff, some new labels and things like that. I mean, yeah, it was like new branding with some old favorites. Could you talk a little bit about kind of what you guys are doing, just production wise? Like, what have you got in the tanks? What can people pick up if they stop by right now? What's the situation?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing you're going to notice is probably going to be transitioning from cans that look like this with the A's on them to cans that are a little bit rebranded. My other brewers grabbing me one real quick
I like
here. Here
that
we go.
off-screen
So
chuckle.
this is going to be our new branding.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little backwards in the picture, but yeah, a little bit cleaner, a little simpler. Just says abnormal, no A, and still sticking with our little icons at the bottom, but kind of going with more of a really edgy geometric shape kind of feel for the whole brand, I guess. So you'll see a lot of that kind of going on. So all the old can style that I showed first will start phasing out, and everything will be in this new soft matte with a lot of gold trim and stuff like that.
So after like a month or two, if you see those old cans in your like local bottle shop, you'll know that they're not turning it around fast enough. It'll be like a really obvious thing if you don't have the date stamp on it.
Yeah, for the most part, we do have like some of these two cans right here are brand new. We still haven't canned them yet, so there will be a couple new brands that still have the old designs. But yeah, within the next couple months, there won't be any more of that A left around.
So don't be too quick to slap the shit out of your local bottle shop owner if they've got the old stuff. So all
No,
right.
I'll stick my sales guy on them. It'll be fine.
Deal. We'll just blow it up on like Instagram or something. So
Something, yeah.
well, so abnormal. You guys are in kind of a unique spot. You're in Rancho Bernardo. There's not a ton of other. There's a handful of other breweries near you. You know, Second Chance stuff like that. But you guys have kind of a unique element. There's a food element. There's a wine element. There's a beer element. Could you talk a little bit about kind of just the whole abnormal family and how it all ties together?
Sure. Yeah. So real quick, I guess the restaurant is called the Cork and Craft, and it is open Tuesday through Saturday. 12 to 9. And that's where you can purchase all of our beers. We don't have another tasting room. Our tasting room is the Cork and Craft, which is our restaurant, which, if you're ever in here, you will also notice that we have a bunch of wine tanks right in the middle of the kitchen. So we kind of started as a winery. We do make our own wine here. And then the food is a little bit elevated. We like to call it, kind of elevated comfort foods.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, actually, with our wine as well, right now we are making some low ABV cocktails with a brandy from our wine that was distilled from Malahat Spirits in Miramar. Yep, a whole bunch of stuff. Yep.
Got
So
it.
we've taken that brandy and we've made a couple weird things. We've got a gin situation, and bunch of really great things. So one of the things that I really like that's in the gin situation is used in is I think it's called porch pounder or porch juice or something like that. It's really really good, and we top it off with a beer of ours as well. So it's got a little beer in it too. We top it off with a beer called Tiki Life for Me, which is our like island cocktail wheat. So it kind of ties everything together.
So if I were to get food to go, can I get that like cocktail to go as well? Or is it, I mean, it seems like you guys, I know there was some outdoor seating as well. So it seems like if you want to have a bite to eat on premise, that's available.
I'm not sure about how the cocktails are going, but we definitely have about 9 or 10 beers right now available in cans. I think about 15 bottles that we have, which are mainly all imperial stouts, whether it's coffee or pastry or not. But let me verify something real quick for you guys. Are we
I mean,
doing the cocktails to go?
We are not doing
We are not.
cocktails to go.
Okay. So sad news. Sad news about those. But
I'm a beer drinker, obviously, so it's fine. But I will say I stopped at the Rabbit Hole on Adams in Normal Heights a couple weeks back, and I got like 2 old fashions to go, and it was just like I put them in my cup holder on the drive home, and I was like, this is just weird. Like this really shouldn't be allowed. But I guess there's no rules right now, so whatever.
not really.
Drink on the beach. I stopped at Balboa Park over the weekend just to like had a little socially distanced picnic or whatever, and everybody was, everybody had beer, everybody had cans in their hands, and I was just like, I'm not even sure if this is a part of the park you're allowed to drink in, but fuck it, let's just go for it. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys do a lot of like really, really like heavily, intensely flavored brews, whether it is like the hazy IPA side of things where it's like super juicy and tropical, or you do the pastry where it's like boatloads of coffee or vanilla or chocolate or whatever. Like, talk to me a little bit about like your brewing portfolio and why you guys are kind of doing things like that. Like, did you think that that was sort of like missing in the San Diego beer scene? It was just something that you guys were interested in doing and it just kind of stuck. Like, what's sort of the thought process behind going for that type of beer?
I mean, we kind of say that we do flavor forward beers,
Mhm.
and kind of tying in the whole restaurant and the wine and everything. Um, I have a culinary background, and my first brewery was a brewery that did a lot of these adjunct beers. So it was something that I was kind of comfortable with. So when I kind of came in, Derek had already been doing those things,
Mhm.
and we just kind of took over and just kept coming up with new cool stuff. I worked with the kitchen team a lot, and we kind of hash out some ideas and flavor profiles about things. So it just kind of seemed like a concept that was fitting for our whole entire atmosphere here, with all three things kind of getting tied together.
Yeah. Well, I know that you and I have talked for an edible publication that I did a while ago about the overlap between like the beer stuff and the food stuff. And I feel like it's a really interesting kind of symbiotic relationship that you guys have where it's not these really light, really delicate, just kind of accent beers to go with the food. Like it's both the stuff coming out of the kitchen and the stuff coming out of the brew house are both so intensely like cared for. Like there's just a lot going on in every single bite or sip, but then when you put them together, like it somehow manages to not overwhelm one another. Like it's just kind of like going up to that next level, like it's a really interesting kind of approach, and I feel like a unique approach. Not many places have there. I mean, there's some breweries that have kitchens right there, but it might be like a North Park Beer Company situation where it's mastiff and it's kind of separate, but you guys work together in a way that I think is really unusual.
Yeah, and that's helped us put together the beer dinners that, unfortunately, with this stupid COVID, we haven't been able to do any this year, really.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's one of the things that we really love doing, is kind of pulling together the food and the beer all together, and kind of trying to make it all one happy family, I guess. Yeah. Is that
Well,
compressor a little too loud? Can you guys hear that?
we can definitely hear it, but I can still hear you. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'm gonna move.
okay.
It's cool. That's what I love about this. We can be mobile.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, people I always feel bad. I'm like, okay, you have to be on your phone otherwise I can't add you, but it's a whole thing. But yeah, I am so the one of the best beer dinners I ever went to was when Derek was still there and I was like mad pregnant, like super super pregnant. So he was so nice. He was pouring me like these little tiny pours of like M3 and I'm just like, I just need a little bit. I'm dying, but you guys definitely have the whole beer and food pairing thing down. So I certainly look forward to the day when you're able to launch those again. But before we wrap up, what is the best way for people to keep in touch with what's going on? Do you have a newsletter? Is social media the best way? Where can people find out what's
Well,
happening at?
social media is probably the best way. Abnormal Beer Co. is pretty much it on all platforms. Um, so yeah, if you follow us there, you can check us out, and then our website as well, abnormalbeer.co. A couple things on there you can follow, and check out our merch, stuff like that. Hours, events, anything that we might actually have going on is typically on there. So
One day, like when
one
we're
day,
it'll be listed there. Good to have, bookmarked.
yep, we'll be back to normal one of these days.
There's back to something, I don't know, but I'll leave my house eventually, but we'll
What is
see.
normal anyway, right?
Yeah, it's overrated. Overrated. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So, well, thank you so much for checking in with us. It was great to hear what's going on there. And until next time, cheers.
Cool. Cheers, guys. See you later. Thank you.
All right, that was Niall Molina, the head brewer at Abnormal Beer Company in Rancho Bernardo. So we are going to do the exact opposite. Instead of diving into their pretty hefty, high ABV pastry stouts, we're going to go all the way to the 0% stuff. So I saw Athletic jump on just a minute ago. I'm going to add you right now, and we are going to talk about what it's like to drink non-alcoholic beer and what that means. Hello.
Hey, Beth, how's it going?
It's going great. How's it going where you are? It looks like you're
Hey,
not at a.
I'm actually at home now. Yeah. Confession, I'm not on the West Coast. I was at our East Coast brewery in Connecticut today, and I am home now, unfortunately. So I don't have any brewery footage to show you.
That's okay. You'll notice I'm also at my house, so it's all good. It's really like we kind of should be there, but hey, people got to work, people got to eat. I get it, man. You got to get back to work.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I'm Bill from Athletic Brewing. It's great to meet you face to face. I've been following you for years.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk in these weird ways. But I'm glad you brought up that there is the brewery in Connecticut. So that was one of my questions. I mean, it started on the East Coast. You guys, kind of established yourself there. You have a production facility here on the West Coast. Like, what kind of inspired that bicoastal transition?
For sure, yeah. So in 2017, when we built our first brewery in Connecticut, it was a pretty crazy idea. I mean, there weren't any non-alcoholic beer breweries in the country, and the
Yeah.
category like couldn't have been less interesting at the time, for sure. I
Hmm.
mean, every event I did that year got made fun of to my face, pretty much. But
As
it's
somebody pregnant in the second half of 2016, I can confirm it was quite shitty.
Sorry. Yeah, being non-alcoholic, we can ship online via e-commerce. So we immediately, they always say trends start on the coast and kind of move in. And we're selling a lot of beer in San Diego. We have family on the West Coast, and we're sponsoring events out there like the AVP volleyball tournament and different things like that. Before we knew it, a lot of our sales were naturally in California. But also, as our company grew, we outgrew our brewery in Connecticut faster than we thought and started to look for a bigger home.
Mhm.
San Diego was kind of the perfect intersection of where we had a lot of customers and ambassadors already, and there's such a great brewing community that there was some bigger facilities. And we found that in the Ballast Point facility.
Yeah, that definitely was kind of perfect timing. And as somebody who personally grew up on the East Coast and came back to the West Coast, I can confirm that living on a coast is definitely ideal. But so we've talked a lot about kind of the future of beer. I personally think that the future of beer might not necessarily be beer. And I think I mean, this is just my own hypothesis, but San Diego is a place that really does have a lot of like health and wellness type people, like people who are very into outdoor living, being really active, and having that overlap between beer, which is not healthy, and being active. I can see where that was just kind of a real opening there. So since you guys have started, I've seen definitely growth in the non-alcoholic category. Could you talk a little bit about how that landscape and that very specific industry has changed since you started?
For sure, yeah. And I mean, we're huge fans of the craft beer world, and we're not out to take away any beer occasions or cannibalize anything. And I mean, our brewery grew out of love for great beer. And
Mhm.
our head brewer, co-founder John, is a longtime craft brewer, and a lot of our teammates came from great craft brewers, both in your community and communities around the country. And
Mhm.
almost all of us still drink.
You're break you're breaking a little bit for
So
me.
let me turn off my Wi-Fi. Can you hear me now?
Cool.
Sorry, but we really wanted
Yes,
beer
that is
that,
perfect. So
yeah, we really wanted beer
sorry,
that
you can
fit in,
just go ahead.
yeah, beer that fit into every night of the week at every occasion, and it's just like we love beer for Friday and Saturday nights and different occasions, but there's so many other times when non-alcoholic beer makes sense too. And if
Yeah.
you can have a beer that you don't have to sacrifice on flavor, on calories, on anything like that, you can drink a few during the day, a couple at night, and feel totally guilt-free. And we just think it's a great way to add so many more occasions to the beer world.
Mhm.
And like our company grew totally out of respect for the beer world in that like craft beer is incredible at the reach of beers, the varieties, everything, and we just wanted to add to that.
Well, and I think we're having some comments chiming in. One of the great things about having a non-alcoholic option as well is so much of beer, and definitely the San Diego beer community, but really craft beer in general, it's a very societal type thing. It's very communal. It's very much about getting together and being with friends and kind of kicking back. And so for people who don't want to drink alcohol or can't drink alcohol, having that kind of opportunity to connect with other people can be difficult. And so offering something for people who, you know, are choosing to be sober is really something that I think is going to become more and more popular. Just another option to be able to enjoy those occasions with other people without having to get inebriated at all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any group that visits a brewery, say it's a group of 5, chances are there's one person at least in that group who's not drinking or drinking, or even may only want to have one alcoholic drink and 1 or 2 non-alcoholic drinks. Really a way just to like be more inclusive. And 50% of adults have 0.1 drinks or less per week. So there's like a whole half of the population that beer, wine, and spirits are basically missing. And so we want to make beer more inclusive in that way.
Well, I support that. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm drinking a 3.7% beer, which is like anything between like 3 and 4.5%. It's like very specific. I know what I like, but you know, that to me is perfect. Like I'm in my mid, almost to my late 30s. I can't be having a double IPA, even really one sometimes. It just kind of knocks you on your butt. So having something that kind of makes me feel like I'm going through the motions of kicking back, like it kind of fires off those similar, you know, taste profiles. Like it's still hoppy, it still has that kind of essence of beer, but without any of the other like stigma stuff attached to it, you know, whether it be physical or mental. So it's been helpful for me for the nights where I'm just like, I want to trick my brain into thinking I'm kicking back, but I'm still like just keeping it cool.
For sure. I mean, people have been drinking beer for thousands of years, and just beer in hand means you're with friends, you're with family, you're relaxing, and it's kind of what we're all about, is just like great beer for any time.
Well, speaking of kind of what you're all about, where can people keep up with everything that's going on? I mean, you said that you can order online because it's not alcoholic, so you don't. It's not the whole rigmarole of shipping beer and the whole thing. So how and where can people get their hands on athletic stuff?
Yeah, so we're starting to pop up all over San Diego and SoCal. We're going to be in all the Ralphs. We're definitely in all the Total Wines, Whole Foods. We have a store finder on our website. But yeah, we're excited to, once the world starts to open up, have some events in our parking lot and runs and bike rides and stuff like that, maybe like surfing and stuff. Yeah, we have a bunch of big new tanks arriving in a couple weeks. So could be a fun tour I could show maybe in a few weeks. But yeah, we're getting 12 new big fermenters, which we're excited about.
12 is no joke. So you guys are definitely planning on ramping stuff up, it sounds like.
Yep. Yeah, really excited.
Well, and it sounds, sorry, my computer just went to sleep. I have my questions. I'm totally. It sounds like we've got a viewer who is definitely hoping to get some more in Texas. So, you know, keep that.
Cool. We're statewide with Benny Keith in Texas. All the Whole Foods, HEBs.
Oh, there you go. Now you know where to find it, Texas viewer. Well, where can people keep up with you on social media? What are all the tags for people to follow?
Yeah, Athletic Brewing, Instagram, and then our website has a store finder and is super easy. We have an email newsletter and stuff. But perfect. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for checking in with us. I look forward to seeing you back on this coast. And yeah, nice to put a face to the name. I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
Cool. Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you to the Guild and everything. Really appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too. Cheers.
Bye.
All right. That was Athletic Brewing, San Diego, well, Connecticut to San Diego on non-alcoholic beer options. So definitely something interesting for us all to keep our eye on and give a try. So we're going to keep things moving right along, and we're going to get Mr. Tommy Arthur on here. He did tell me the name of the of the account that he would be on, and I'm just gonna double check. I actually don't see him on here. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. Oh, Tommy boy. No, no, no. I told you. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I swear this happens at least once every time. So 1 second. Let me see. I appreciate everybody. Oh, you're right there. Why can't I add you? What the heck? No, I don't want to hide it from. Oh, here we go. Thanks. I'm figuring it out. I felt
I can
very
follow
confident.
instructions.
I know. Well, apparently I can't. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? Where is he? I don't know what's going on. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us on this happy Wednesday.
Happy hump day.
Yeah, well, what are days anymore? Time is a social construct. Please don't tease me with that delicious mango.
That's right. Freshly canned. Maybe today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll stop if I must. So I'm assuming everybody watching probably knows who you are, but I would love if you just humored me and did a quick intro, who you are and who you're with and where you are.
So I'm Tommy Arthur. I'm one of the co-founders of Port Brewing, The Lost Abbey, The Hop Concept, and Tiny Bubbles these days. Located in San Marcos, we've been here since 2006. I have been a proud member of the San Diego brewing community since March of 1996.
So that leads me right into my first question. It's definitely safe to say you are one of the, OGs of San Diego beer, but let's talk about Tiny Bubbles, which I think is kind of an interesting evolution for you. Let's talk about kind of the future of beer and why you guys decided to move forward with that new line.
So I've always loved the Tiny Bubbles name. I always loved the recipe and the beer. It came from my friend Eric Rose at Hollister Brewing Company, and they recently sold their restaurant and brew pub to another investor, and they sort of retired and moved out of the community. But I wanted to keep that beer alive, and so I approached them about the recipe and whether we could buy the rights to it and transition it into our house, take care of it, and bring it to a wider range of people. We've been doing sour beer for a very, very long time, and it just made sense. So we're super proud of Tiny Bubbles. It's something that we launched in the middle of this pandemic. I don't think a lot of people have come to see it just yet. We're working on getting it out there. But it's a live probiotic sour beer in a can.
So one of the things that I thought was really interesting from when just going through what you were talking with Brewbound about Tiny Bubbles was this sort of seemed like something the craft beer core consumer, we'll just say middle-aged white guys, like fine, with beards, whatever. They've sort of tapped out. Like we've reached everybody who's like easy to reach in terms of beer. And this seems like it was taking a little bit of a step out to try and get some more people into beer. Would you say that that's fair, like a fair assessment or
Yeah,
correct?
I think when we looked at the portfolio of things that we were doing, I mean, our Lost Abbey sour beers are very, high end. The tanks behind me are very expensive, the time and the labor. But we wanted something that was consumer friendly, something that was easy. The beer itself is not easy to make, and that's okay. We're okay with the challenge of it. But what we wanted to do was create something that was incredibly refreshing, lower ABV. It's low calorie. It's 125 calories. So, we took the recipe and really just thought it fit the space. There's a lot of people drinking, tart, sour kettle beers these days, and we wanted to kind of take it one step further and make it live and let it be something that was evolutionary.
So where can people get them right now?
So somewhere in the ethosphere, and I don't know exactly where, the website is drinktiny.com. That is the Tiny Bubbles website, and on there is a store finder, and it lists where we have sort of sent the beer out into Southern California. Basically, we're self-distributing it right now, and I think we have about 150 placements. So you should be able to go to drinktiny.com and look for a Google finder of some kind on there, and it'll tell you where it's available. Currently, we're placing the original Brute recipe, which is sea salt and Brettanomyces, and there's also an OG, the orange guava version. Lime is sitting in the tank, and it'll be out by the end of the month.
Okay. Well, so that was just like the newest venture of yours. I mean, the Lost Abbey's been around forever. Port's been around forever. The Hop Concept, not as long, but still for a decent while. Yep. Talk to me about how the three kind of play with one another, why you decided to like have them in those three different like siloed brands, and what kind of sets each one apart from the other.
So when we opened it back in 2006 here, we had port brewing and Lost Abbey beers, and a lot of the port beers came across when I transitioned from Pizza Port to here. A lot of the Abbey recipes came out of the Pizza Port side, but we really wanted to give them their own lane so that they were working, not in the same space, different price points, different accounts and things like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
a few years back, probably about 5 years ago, I think we launched the hop concept, and that was
Mm-hmm.
when IPA really just became sort of an explosion. And we thought that having a brand just specific to hops and really focused on simplistic messaging, our dank and sticky, our tropical and juicy sort of taste and smell, made a lot of sense. And now with Tiny Bubbles coming on board, we understand that the Abbey brand is kind of a very celebratory brand these days. A lot of people put the beer in their cellar, but we want people drinking sour beer, on much more, many more occasions. And we thought that that's where Tiny Bubbles would find its sort of lane.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and when you're talking about the Lost Abbey stuff, I mean, that's all bottles. Like, that's a very kind of traditional approach to stuff. You've got your framboise and just you've got a lot of stuff that takes a lot of time, a lot of care. It can sit for a year or two. I mean, the barrel room, if anybody has not been to the Lost Abbey tasting room, it's like completely bananas. Is it even open? Like, can people come?
No, but I can probably turn the camera just enough to show it. Like, let's see if I can do this.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
There's like
I mean,
20 rows of barrels that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in like a utopian wonderland. Like, I just want to dive. I want to die in that room. Like, please let me get in a fooder and just like think.
Yes, go for it. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. We'll just start turning the fooders into caskets, huh? There's a really sustainable business there.
There you go. I'm down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love it. I don't know what to. We're getting into some dark humor here, but like, pandemic, you gotta laugh.
I mean, you got to do something. I mean, you got to get out of bed every day first and foremost. That's the hard part.
Crack
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah.
So
It's
Well-
interesting. I come to work an hour later each day than I used to because I don't have to get up for school with the kids anymore. So now I can sleep in. That's been the best part.
well, now I'm interested because how is that going? Like, how is Tommy doing during this pandemic?
When it first hit, I started sleeping better because there wasn't anything I could control.
Yeah.
And now it's getting a lot more difficult. The rules, the regulations, the requirements, the stress. It's certainly been a long summer.
Yeah. Might I recommend something that has worked very well for me, not being able to sleep? Edibles.
I was going to say marijuana, right? Yeah, that's been the recommendation. Yeah.
It's been quite helpful. So just pro
You're
tip.
not the first person. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And having, I mean, this is only 3.7%, but I'm like, even that, like, how many do I want to really like be shoving my face in?
Yeah.
But I have to say, me personally, one of the things I'm looking forward to after this year is done and we move back into something else is the next iteration of Duck Duck Goose, which, I mean, you got to mark your calendar 3 years early, right? Like, you got to know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it might even be sitting behind me already. It might be in one of these tanks back here. You just never know.
I know it's always there. It's always, plating. It's doing its thing. So
yeah, I mean, we're what are we, about 18 months away now? Is that about right? It seems to be the case.
I mean,
March-ish. Yeah.
You know what? What a great way to celebrate! Not, just getting over this hump. We're just getting back out there. I think it'll be just in time for. I think we'll be ready to celebrate the next time it comes out.
It's one of my favorite things is when people open bottles and they say it lives up to the hype. So I always appreciate seeing that people really do prize the beer for the work that we put into it. It's not an easy tour.
No, I imagine not. Anything with several years in the making requires a level of dedication that we all certainly appreciate. Well, I would say start rattling off all of the social media accounts for everybody to follow. You're a man with too many brands, so we'll just. If you're watching, you got to figure out where to find you.
We're looking for new followers at drinktiny.com, so follow Drink Tiny, please.
Deal.
Got it?
I really appreciate you checking in with us. It was great to see you, and until next time, cheers.
Thanks, Beth. Appreciate it. Have a great Wednesday.
You too.
All right, bye.
All right, that was, a king of San Diego beer. I'm sweating more than I would like to let on right now, just to having chatted with him. So, yeah, like I said, if you haven't been to the Barrel Room at the Lost Abbey, fuck it up. You should go check it out because it is honestly just heaven. It is a wonderful, wonderful place. And I would like to, now I feel motivated to pop open one of my Lost Abbey bottles that's, like 12% or something. Like, just call it a day. But we won't until we check in with Stave and Nail. Who is up next? Let me see where you are. It looks like you maybe have asked to join. So let's check it out. For some reason, my my thing is like not letting me add people, which is really annoying. But we'll figure it out. I don't know what the deal is with why it's not letting me add people. But I really appreciate, again, everybody dealing or bearing with me. I don't know why. It's like my button is just not working. So 1 second. I'm going to take a peek at who is on here. I am so sorry that this is just like, it's like womp womp. We just had a great conversation and now I can't get my shit together. So, all right, hold on. If you, Stave and Nail, if you are seeing this, just go ahead and request to be on here because I don't know why it's not letting me add people. So one, Stave and Nail. Let me see. What the hell? I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's like my adding people isn't working. This is only like the 20th week we're doing this. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. So, all right, hold on 1 second. There, that was my floor. I thought maybe if I like switched my... Okay, I literally don't know why this is not working. So, yeah, I see you on there. Okay, Stave and Nail, if you go to the bottom of your screen, there is like 2 happy faces right next to each other. Click on that and you should be able to request to be in the video. I don't know why it's not letting me. You can see that I'm touching my screen. Well, I'm glad that viewer Salvador Anton thinks this is so funny. I'm blowing it. I am blowing it. Yeah, I don't know why this is not letting me do this. This is extremely frustrating. Oh, wait, hold on. I got you. No happy faces. It's okay. I got it. We figured it out. It only took me like 3 minutes of monologuing. It was great.
Oh, good, because I was like, oh shit, there's no happy faces.
No, you know what? Every time I like walk somebody through how to do this, I'm just like, okay, like it's super easy. It's so fun. It's really chill. And then I like 9 out of 10, it's like me screwing it up. So you're good.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, hi, what's up? Let's get a little intro of who you are and where you are.
Sure. So my name is Justin Stambaugh. I'm the owner, and I guess I don't even know whatever role you would put me as. I guess I'm the head blender, definitely the owner, and everything in between of Stave and Nail Brewing Company.
Mm-hmm.
Of Rip Current Brewing, which is I'm actually in the same building as them still. We're on the opposite end, so there's a cabinet shop in between, but our warehouses are on opposite ends of the same building. Yeah, I guess me, my little brother, we kind of decided we're going to start this crazy sour brewery, and it's been fun. It's been sweaty. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a lot of work. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a cabinet shop. Interesting. I am in the need of cabinets, and that sounds like it might be the most delicious, like deliciously situated cabinet shop of all time. So
Yeah. Good luck though. They're booked out for years. It's like a crazy cabinet shop. I know. Who knew?
I had no idea cabinets were so in demand, but you, from what I understand, you come from a homebrewing background, like a homebrewer turned pro. Talk a little bit about your kind of evolution in the beer space.
Sure. So, and a homebrewer is that might even be putting it like kind of generously. I was definitely homebrewing. None of it was good. None of my homebrews were even good until maybe 2 years into my professional career, and that kind of. So basically, my evolution was homebrewing for 3 or 4 years. I was working across the street as a bartender and managing a restaurant across the street, and saw that Rip Current was opening. Kind of just beat the door down and was there for about 7 years. And that's where I really developed all my, physical skills and tasting, figuring out what to do. They were gracious enough to let me start the sour program over there, which was kind of short-lived on that end because it takes so damn long, especially when you don't really know what you're doing. So over there, starting with carboys and kegs that we took the spears out of to ferment, and I basically just had this room and a bunch of sour beers, and this is maybe, I don't know, maybe I had 20 or 30 different, let's say, vessels. The beginning, I dumped 80% plus, easy, no problem.
But good on you for dumping them, because there are some who would not.
It was we're learning here, not trying to put out shitty beer. So
Right.
But yeah, so that just kind of grew into the sour program at Rip Current. Progressed from being an intern up to head of brewing operations there, which was also just a huge, learning experience. And they took me to Craft Brewers Conference, and I'm introduced to all these people in the industry. And yeah, that's kind of that was the upbringing, was learning under them, and them letting me kind of just, honestly, they just gave me the keys to the castle with the sour program and process and development, and here we are.
Figure it the funk out. That's
very good. Very good.
I hear that. So you work with your brother, which I think is hilarious, because I have a brother and a sister, and if I had to be around them like more than once a month, I'd murder them for sure. So how is that? How is it working with the fam?
You're going to love this. So he was at Rip Current with me. He was also working across the street after I had left my bartending gig.
So he's a copycat, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, ask him. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
So he was working at Sprouts, needed a job, came over to Rip Current, learned I was so hard on him. I was just the worst, I'm sure. Good. But so was he. He was very bad at it, and he needed some help, so I helped him. No, I love him. Little Joe, yeah. We actually got in a fist fight. That's how he left Rip Current initially and went to McKellar, which is where he's brewing now. Thank God he went to McKellar, because it's a great move for him. And we have since, obviously, the next day it's not our first fist fight. We're brothers,
Yeah.
Next day we're hugging. But yes, that's funny. You should, yeah, I would want to kill my sibling also, and I tried to, so.
Yeah, I think the last time I got into a fist fight with my sister, we had just traveled around Europe for 2 weeks together, and I punched her in front of the Vatican. So we have.
Oh, you have to trump me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was 2005, so we've slowly gotten over it, but yeah, that was a weird 4th of July for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll need like the, I don't know, Leaning Tower of Pisa or the Eiffel Tower or something. Okay, I'll come back. Don't worry, I got this.
Okay. Challenge, throw them down. Like, where's the weirdest place you can get into a fist fight with your siblings? I mean, I feel like if you try, I just talked to Tommy about just like, I'll die in a vat of sour beer like one day. Like, that's just fine. Just let the probiotics and lacto just eat me, and I will go back to earth. But I feel like, yeah, death by brewery somehow is sort of what's gonna happen. I need to stop making all these weird like dying jokes right now. It's not great timing.
I personally think beer is going to save the world, but that's fine. I mean, whatever. If you think the opposite, it's okay.
I sure hope so. I mean, I'm feeling, I'm trying to like hold on to like any semblance of optimism, but I do feel like talking to people specifically in beer right now, specifically San Diego, like we still are an optimistic bunch. Like we still are we're chugging through this, and most people are keeping a real positive attitude about it. And I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I mean, it's kind of historical that breweries do actually really well during, I mean, not necessarily pandemics, but during downturns in the economy, during, just kind of gnarly things going on. Breweries, alcohol does better because, probably some soothing there or whatever it may be. Not just that, but we're also, I think a lot of the brewery owners and just friends I have in the industry have kind of been like, well, fuck it. I mean, we're still making beer, which is cool. And that's kind of how we feel also. If anything, I think we're not looking at it monetarily. we are looking at it as when we had to close everything down, we got super bummed because we're not able to give our beer out to people, and we're not able to not just not able to give our beer out to people, but not able to see the reaction and talk to them and, give a little backstory. And I didn't really realize that I liked that so much. But now that it got taken away from me, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I want to tell our story. I want to, give you a beer and be able to talk to you about what we did to it and how I think it's cool. So, in general, we're just trying to stay positive because why not? Why be upset about it?
Yeah, I mean, and if you got a cold one in your hand, like, are things really that bad? Like, if you can still drink it, if you got it. What are you drinking right now? That looks extremely luscious.
This is our new hazy IPA. Well, I guess not new. We released it about 3 weeks ago, called Sticky Drops. So sold out in can, still available in draft. We'll be up in next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following. We'll have it on draft. Yeah, so super good. It's we've been working on this hazy recipe. People keep making fun of me. Not really. Most of my inside friends just keep making fun of me because I can't keep the same recipe more than once, really, especially with the hazies. But it's really just like I don't like it exactly where it is, and I want to change something about it. So every batch has been slightly different as far as the base beer. So
Yeah.
just
Well, you know what? If Kelsey McNair is still tweaking hot food, then I think you're good. Tweak away.
right. That beer's been around forever and always has been delicious.
Yeah, but like Kelsey, please stop. Just
Nah.
pick a recipe.
Let the man be a man. Just let him have fun with it,
Gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do. I love it. So where can people keep up with everything Stave and Nail? Social, newsletter?
Yeah, so our website is, we try to keep it up to date as possible. The problem is everything's changing so rapidly. We've had trouble keeping our website even, it's just, there's none today. Instagram for sure, and then Facebook would be a secondary. But yeah, Instagram, our profile is always updated with our hours and everything. And that's Stave and Nail Beer, or at Stave and Nail Beer.
Sweet. Well, I really appreciate you checking in with me. I feel like we'll have to schedule a 6-month check-in to see who's got the better punch their sibling story, but we'll connect afterward. It's fine.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for your patience with me, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Cheers. All right. That's it. That's our show for today. I appreciate everybody keeping up with my technical difficulties, and I didn't even have to bust out a joke or anything today, so you're all welcome. But like I said, we do this every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, usually until about now-ish. So if you would like to be a guest on a future show, please do reach out here. You can just send us a message here or at info@sdbeer.com, or I don't know, just put it out in the universe. You'll probably have to tell us, though, otherwise we won't know. So I am Beth Demon. You can follow me on Instagram at The Delighted Bite, or on Twitter at Delighted Bite, no the. And until then, be sure to stock up on plenty of independently owned San Diego craft beer. I know that I've got my homework cut out for me this weekend. I gotta restock on some of the low ABV stuff, but I'll have some good stuff next week. But until then, next week, cheers, enjoy the rest of your week, and stay cool.